Good evening to all of the members of BD Nation, wherever you might happen to be. I'm delighted to be joining you tonight for our next episode of EMF 101 with Marty Grosjean. Let me apologize first for the very casual background that you see. I was actually on my way home, and there were a few thousand other people that were going the same direction in the freeway as me, so I had to divert to my daughter and son-in-law's temporary home before they're leaving to move back to Asia in a couple of months. So that's why my background is so casual. I apologize for that, but delighted to welcome all of you from my location tonight, which is in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, where we've got bright blue skies surrounded by snow-capped peaks and about 80 degrees right now in the Salt Lake Valley. So it's a perfect setting. It's a great ByDzyne night. So to all of you, I say good evening. Even to some of you, I say good morning. And some of you, it's very late at night. That's what happens when we have a United Nations type of family after we have established a global footprint at ByDzyne. So tonight, we're delighted to welcome all of you. As every single person is aware, yesterday we had a wonderful, wonderful 2-year anniversary event that we celebrated with thousands of people that were online with us. And of course, one of the topics that we discussed yesterday was we gave you a report about our BD Protect line of products. And tonight we're in great hands once again by listening to the wisdom, the knowledge, the experience of Marty Grosjean and his distinguished colleague, Morgan Mink, that they are prepared and ready once again on Monday night product training to share with us the important technology, the health protection that is available. And as we live in a world that we're surrounded by EMF type of radiation from top to bottom, what a great opportunity it is for us to be able to sell these outstanding products as part of our ByDzyne product offering. So Marty, I believe that you're going to be going first. So without any further delay, I'm delighted to welcome you once again to our call. You always bring such illumination and such great information. So I'll officially turn the mic over to you now. Looking forward to hearing everything you're going to tell us tonight.
Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate the warm welcome. And it is a pleasure, as always, to be here with the entire ByDzyne team. And I am going to share my screen with you right now. And we will be going through our slides. Hopefully everybody can see my screen at this point. Yeah? Okay. So let's start with a quick view of the BD Protect line that Dave was referring to. This is a very exciting line of products. These 4 different products that you see here that are designed to protect your health from the negative effects of electromagnetic field waves and radiation. And as Dave mentioned, that is a factor that we are all living with in today's modern world. We are constantly surrounded by electromagnetic radiation, and there are health consequences involved. So the BD Protect line is the solution to that situation. We'll dive deeper into the individual products later, but just to give you a quick preview, we have here on the left our BD Protect sticker, which goes on your cell phone, your laptop, and all of your smaller wireless devices that you have in your life. We have the BD Protect car, which goes in your automobile, as the name suggests, that creates a safe zone in your automobile where you are protected from EMF radiation while driving. We have the BD Protect home and office, which, like the car, creates a protected zone, but in this case, within your entire home or it will also work in an office environment as well. And then lastly, we have the stylish BD Protect bracelet that you wear on your wrist, and that protects you from all EMFs that you encounter wherever you go. And again, we'll learn more about those as we move forward. But the first thing we need to answer is, of course, why do I need to safeguard myself against EMFs? What's the problem? Well, the reality is that we are being constantly bombarded or exposed to electromagnetic radiation of all different types in our world today. And, that includes, of course, your cell phone, which is constantly communicating with the cell phone towers. Of course, Wi-Fi routers and Wi-Fi networks are pervasive today. So we all have them in our homes. We are all exposed to them when we're shopping or at the coffee shop or wherever we go, basically. And then there are many other sources, some of which we'll talk about as well. The cell phone towers themselves, of course, that are broadcasting to the phones, and the many other devices that we have in our home that are communicating wirelessly. And what's happened is that this technology has proliferated and grown quickly in our world, but the science is just starting to discover that all of this exposure to electromagnetic radiations for our bodies is not particularly good for our health. It has long-term health consequences, and it's basically what you might call an environmental toxin, in the sense that it's a low-level exposure. So it's not something that most of us notice in our lives, but like mold or like radon or like asbestos, over time, with exposure, it does take a toll on the body's health. And there are now many hundreds, probably well over 1,000 scientific studies from very well-respected universities and research institutions and government agencies from all over the world that demonstrate various types of health damage from exposure to EMF radiation. Just an example of some of the potential health consequences: a lowered immune response. In other words, lowers your body's ability to fight off disease and illness, damage to your DNA, changes to hormone levels, which can affect sleep and reproductive issues, mental health issues like anxiety, even depression, and even susceptibility to certain types of cancers. There is one government study that has shown that when rats were exposed to a similar level of EMF radiation that a cell phone emits over a long period of time, they developed tumors. And so it's real. And these are very respected scientific organizations that are doing these studies. And again, most of us don't notice a difference on a day-to-day basis, although some people do. I mean, there are some people who are very sensitive to EMF radiation, and it's called EMF hypersensitivity. Those types of people, may have a hard time even using a cell phone. They may not be able to have a Wi-Fi router in their home without feeling weak or dizzy or getting headaches or whatever. So it varies a lot from person to person. The majority of us don't really notice it or feel it, but it is still taking a toll on our health over the long run. And these many scientific studies I referred to clearly document that. If you're interested in learning more about those scientific studies, they're not that hard to find. And we have two websites listed here at the bottom of this slide where you can go to find some of these research studies and read about them if you'd like. The first one, the Environmental Health Trust, very informative website. The second one, the Radiation Research Trust. Those websites are also listed on the BD Protect page and on the ByDzyne website. So you can always look them up there later if you'd like to do some of your own research to find out more about these potential dangers from EMF radiation. And of course, this is a real scenario, a real situation for everyone in the world today, because as I said earlier, we are all surrounded by EMFs. This research study that we're highlighting here showed that your average American spends half of their day consuming and interacting with media. And what does that mean? That means being in front of a device like a cell phone or a laptop that is emitting EMF radiation. And that's going to be, as you well know, very similar in any country in the world, really. I mean, in today's world, at least all of the countries where BD Protect is operating today, that EMF radiation and wireless communication is every bit as pervasive as it is in America. 3 billion people in the world own smartphones now. So as we all know, there are not many people left without a smartphone. And all of those smartphones are emitting pretty significant levels of EMF radiation. So, the bad news is it's a concern for us all. The good news is, pretty much everyone is a prospect for a BD Protect product, including yourself, of course. We would highly recommend that you start with yourself. So then let's ask the next question. Well, why these BD Protect products? How do they help? So as I mentioned, we have the first product is the EMF Protection Sticker that goes on cell phones, Wi-Fi routers, laptops, tablets, and any other wirelessly communicating device. That will neutralize the EMF radiation that's coming from that device so that when it comes into contact with your body, it doesn't have the negative health consequences that it otherwise would. And we have a bracelet, and the way that works is it's basically neutralizing all of the EMF radiation that comes into contact with your body. And it does that mainly by boosting your body's defenses and allowing it to better manage the effects of the radiation when it hits your body. Because it is worn on your body, it's circulating its energy through your body and performing that function. The home and office kit will turn your entire home or office into a protected zone. So all of the people, pets, plants, everyone within that zone will be protected from EMF radiation because it's essentially neutralizing all of the EMF waves in that entire space that it's covering. And the car sticker works the exact same way, only doing so in your car. So how do the products do that, you ask? Well, we are using what's called a bioenergetic technology, which is proprietary to the BD Protect products. It comes from Europe, which is where the whole bioenergetic approach to health originated and is well known today. And that proprietary bioenergetic technology is what neutralizes the harmful effects of the EMF waves when they come into contact with your body. And the way it works is that we take the product here in step one. In this case, we're just showing one of the metal plates like the BD Protect car and home and office are made out of. And in step one, in our workshop in Europe, we are transmitting basically energy frequencies onto that device in a special machine that we have there that creates those energetic frequencies. From that time on, in step two, that device, whatever it may be, the metal plate in this case, or the bracelet in the case of the bracelet, is then emitting those energy frequencies out into its environment from that point on, forever and ever. It never wears out, it lasts forever. And so in step three, when the energy from the device comes into contact with a device like a cell phone or the human body, in the case of the bracelet, it is doing its neutralizing work so that the EMFs are neutralized as they are coming out of the device or into the body, basically. So that's how it works. The energy is stored in the actual product. The effectiveness is not from what the products are made out of. It is from the energy that is stored in the products. And this energy is what we call a quantum energy. And a quantum energy means that it is happening at a subatomic level. So it's not something that you can measure with a scientific device or a meter of any sort. It is happening at a level below what we call matter, and it is interacting with the energy of the electromagnetic radiation at that level also. So it is not actually blocking or changing the EMF waves, and we'll talk more about that later. It's just neutralizing them at this subatomic level. Now, you may be wondering, what is this subatomic energy, this quantum energy? There are some examples that you've probably heard of this type of energy. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's called qi. And in Ayurvedic medicine from India, it's called prana. So this is not something new, this quantum energy. The term quantum energy is new, but using this type of energy for healing and for health is thousands of years old and has been used by many ancient healing techniques for many, many years. Other types of holistic healthcare techniques that use subatomic energy that you may have heard of are acupuncture and homeopathy. So acupuncture really ties back into the traditional Chinese medicine, and qi, what they're doing with acupuncture is essentially by putting the needles in your body, they're directing your qi, otherwise known as your quantum energy, around your body to balance this energy flow in your body. So it's that same type of energy that we're using with our bioenergetic process in the BD Protect products. In homeopathy is using that same type of energy. It stores it in the water or the tablets of the homeopathy, which that is then transmitted into your body when you take the homeopathic medicine. So these are things that you may have heard of already that are using this same type of energy that we're using in BD Protect products. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the important thing to understand is that this technology is not blocking the EMFs or even reducing them or changing them in any way. The good news is that means your devices continue to function normally, because of course you can block all the EMFs from your cell phone by putting it in a metal box, for example. However, then your cell phone is going to stop working. And that goes for, of course, any wireless device that you own. If you completely block the EMFs or even try and lower them, then what it means is just that device is not going to work properly anymore. So blocking EMF waves is really not a realistic way to protect yourself from the EMF radiation. It really needs to be done at the subatomic level by neutralizing the radiation or the EMF waves, which is what we're doing, as I mentioned earlier. Now, this also means, of course, that you will not be able to notice a difference with an EMF meter. You can buy a meter that measures EMF radiation, in the US, you can get one for $150 on Amazon, and you can walk around your house and find hot spots like next to your Wi-Fi router or next to your cell phone. You can see the meter go up dramatically when it's near these wireless devices. Well, it's not going to change when you use the BD Protect products. And that's important to know so that, if you have customers that you're working with, they understand that we're not blocking, we're not lowering, we're neutralizing, which is not measurable with a EMF meter. So then the question becomes, well, how do I know that it's working then? And people will ask that question, of course. If I can't measure it, how do I know? And the answer to that is the only real way to see the effects of the BD Protect technology is to measure your health with and without using the technology. Taking various measurements of your health when you're exposed to EMF radiation, first without using the BD Protect product, and then with using it, and you can see a dramatic difference in the state of your health. And there are a number of different ways that you can measure the health. Some of the ones that we've done in the past include heart rate variability, electrodermal testing, which is essentially measuring the conductivity of your skin. You can do it with blood tests and live blood cell analysis, like putting your blood underneath a microscope and looking at the cells and their activity, and even just basic health measurements like heart rate, blood pressure, pH level, the size of your pupils. All those things will be affected by EMF radiation. And when you measure them closely, you can see the effect that the EMF exposure has on them. And then you can see, once you use the BD Protect products, the changes in the health and the improvements in the health. So to take a measurement, step one is you measure someone's health without being exposed to EMF at all, right? Just getting their, what you call their baseline or their normal health state. Then you expose them to EMF. Generally, that is by making a cell phone call and holding the cell phone to your ear or sitting next to a Wi-Fi router, et cetera. You measure their health again, and you will inevitably see that their health measurements have gone down and gotten worse. And then step three, of course, you put the BD Protect product on the device or on the person, and you take the measurements a third time, and you will always see that in that case, the health measurements have gotten better again, definitely better than, step two, and usually even better than step one, which is where they started before they were even exposed to EMF radiation. So those types of measurements are the real way to tell that the products are working. And we'll talk in a minute about a study that's published where we did exactly that. But another test, just to mention before we move on, is what we call the lemon juice test. So if you take two identical glasses of lemon juice, place them about a half a meter apart from each other, and you wrap the BD Protect bracelet around the bottom of one of the glasses, and then the other one, you just leave it as it is. Let it sit there for a couple of minutes, and then pick up the two glasses and taste them. And you will notice a pretty dramatic difference in the taste of the lemon juice. The lemon juice that had BD Protect energy come into it from the bracelet will be smoother, it will be less sour and less tart. And it's a really fun experiment, and one that you can do pretty easily just to demonstrate that, yes, this bracelet is definitely doing something. It is emitting some energy, and it is changing the characteristics of this lemon juice. So it's obviously not directly about EMFs, but it is a fun demonstration of something actually happening. And the study I was mentioning was conducted by a third-party research institute in Europe. So this is not us at BD Protect doing the testing. We basically hired a third-party organization to do the testing, and it was done with the BD Protect bracelets to show that it protects the health against Wi-Fi radiation. And as it turns out, it also showed that it just boosted health in general, even without being exposed to EMF radiation. And the study was conducted like a real sort of rigorous scientific study using what's called a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled methodology. And what that really means is that the test subjects, when they were getting measured, their health was getting measured, they didn't know whether they were being exposed to EMF radiation and whether the bracelet that they were wearing, the BD Protect bracelet, was a real one or a fake one. And so there was no way for them to be sort of emotionally or mentally influenced during the study. It was what's called a blind study. They did not know whether they had the real bracelet or whether they were being exposed to EMF radiation. And this was done with 15 test subjects, taking 5 different measurements of their healths. And then this research institute called ByDzyne, they did a very extensive statistical analysis of all the different test subjects and all the different measurements they took. And they concluded that there was a statistically significant difference that showed that the health was better when wearing the BD Protect the BD Protect bracelet when they were being exposed to Wi-Fi radiation. It was noticeably, measurably, scientifically, statistically significant, the difference in their health. And it also, as I mentioned earlier, they even took measurements using the bracelet without the EMF radiation exposure, and they found that people's health just improved by virtue of wearing the bracelet, even without being exposed to EMF radiation. So what it really means is you're going to, improve your health to some degree just by wearing the bracelet, regardless of how much EMF waves you're exposed to. This is another very interesting study that we did to visually demonstrate the difference using the BD Protect product. So these are 2 identical bowls of cress sprouts. They are the same size bowl, the same amount of cress sprouts. They are grown in the same window over the same period of time, sitting right next to a Wi-Fi router. You can see in this case, the Wi-Fi router doesn't have anything on it. It's just sitting next to the Wi-Fi router. In this case, we put the BD Protect EMF sticker on the Wi-Fi router to neutralize the EMFs coming from the router. You can see the difference in the health of the sprouts after 10 days sitting next to these routers. When there was no BD Protect sticker, they were not healthy, they looked sick, they did not flourish. But with the BD Protect sticker on the router, they grew normally. This is a really good visual representation of what this technology can do. All right, so that's the overview of, the why and the how of the products, why you need them and how they work. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Morgan, who's going to do a little deeper dive into each of the products and explain more about what they are and what they do and how they work. So Morgan, take it away.
Thank you, Marty, and thank you, BD Nation, for tuning in. We're always glad to share our expertise and the knowledge we have gained with our BD Protect technology. So glad to be here. Let's jump right into the products. Starting left to right, you've got the car harmonizing sticker, EMF Plus protection sticker from BD Protect, which will shield yourself and your passengers by neutralizing the EMFs emitted from the car and any external electromagnetic frequencies as well. Next, we would have the BD Protect sticker. This will neutralize the EMFs from your cell phone, your Wi-Fi router, the 2 most notable sources for EMF radiation for most of us, but really is good for any wireless device in your life. Next would be the home and office kit from BD Protect, maybe my favorite product, and we'll go into some more reasons later, but this will create a safe zone where everyone is shielded from EMFs emitted from inside and outside of your home. And lastly, we have that stylish BD Protect bracelet. Really awesome product, very effective. And what's best about that is the fact it's protecting you wherever you are when you're wearing it. So we'll go ahead and dive into each product a little bit more thoroughly here, starting with the EMF Plus protection sticker from BD Protect. Basically, it's a 1-inch by 1-inch sticker that is reusable, and it has some adhesive backing supplied. So you can use that adhesive backing to apply it to whatever device you're applying it to. Most people are going to use it for their cell phones at first. So we'll talk about that. And a lot of people these days uses a case for their cell phones as well, in which case you don't necessarily need to use the provided backing. You can just put that sticker in between your cell phone and its case. As long as this sticker is applied and touching the device that you want to apply it to, rather, it's going to be doing its job. You can tape over the top, you can use the provided adhesive backing, and you can relocate it to your next cell phone whenever you upgrade, which is an important feature. As Marty mentioned, the energy inside of these products does last forever. So you can keep using these stickers when you upgrade your devices. Next time you get a new tablet, no reason to get a new sticker. You can just go ahead and use the old one. Again, this is for any and all wireless devices. I'd like to highlight why we really recommend and prioritize the cell phones and the Wi-Fi routers. This is because they're most commonly in everybody's life, as well as they are large emitters of EMF radiation due to the nature of how that technology works. When we consider cell phones, we're talking about how these are communicating with their towers constantly. And these towers, generally speaking, are at a great distance, which is going to necessitate a very powerful signal for this cell phone to actually communicate back and forth with those towers. So even when we're not on a call or actively using our cell phone, it is always creating a pretty big EMF radiation reading because of the fact that it's constantly pinging back and forth between itself and the towers. Next would be the Wi-Fi routers, and these use their Wi-Fi technology has created a 50-meter radius of Wi-Fi wireless internet access network. And so this means that if you can see your Wi-Fi network, or you can see your Wi-Fi network that belongs to your neighbor or the coffee shop down the street, you are in that radiation zone. And just like the cell phones, your Wi-Fi is constantly sending and receiving data. Because of that fact, these are the largest emitters of EMF radiation as far as wireless devices are concerned. But we can see some of the more suitable uses listed there. And so it would, of course, be your cell phone. It would, of course, be your Wi-Fi router, any sort of laptop, any sort of desktop computer, any sort of tablet. Power supplies is one I like to highlight, because even though we think about Wi-Fi and we're talking about cellular data a lot, just having a lot of things plugged into one particular power supply will make that zone an EMF hotspot. So if you do have a power supply at your desk or maybe behind your entertainment center, it's very important to consider adding a protection sticker down there. Cordless phone, if your home phone is a wireless phone, those essentially create their own wireless network, another Wi-Fi network. So really important to consider adding a BD Protect sticker to those. Next one down would be the baby monitor. And I really think that's a very important and profound consideration, given that we know these studies are showing negative impacts of EMF radiation on adult human health, and consider a developing child and an infant. This radiation can potentially be even more harmful to those younger generations than us. So having that baby monitor applied with a sticker would be a good idea. And one that's not listed here as far as a good application for the BD Protect sticker would be a smart utility meter. More and more utility companies, whether it be electrical, gas, or water, are using smart meters to track the amount of usage that you're using on that given utility. And how those work, it's much like your cell phone does. They're constantly pinging data back and forth to those companies to share the data that you've been using. And so that's going to be a fairly powerful emitter that is oftentimes right outside your bedroom window and you didn't even know it. So that would be another important consideration for application of the BD Protect sticker. And what's cool about these, and what I really enjoy about the BD Protect line, is all of these products work perfectly in synergy with one another. So you can really, for peace of mind, add one to every monitor in your house. If you use multiple monitors on your laptop setup, you can add them to every cell phone, all of your Wi-Fi routers. There's no contraindication. These are not going to negate one another. So you can add one of these stickers to anything that uses wireless communication technology. Moving on to the BD Protect bracelet. Again, just a stylish accessory that people compliment on all the time just because of the nature of how nice it looks. And the beautiful thing about this bracelet is that it's protecting you wherever you are in the world from all EMFs that you're coming in contact with, which, when we compare that to the sticker we were just talking about, the sticker is designed to necessarily and specifically harmonize the signal and harmonize that EMF radiation coming from that particular device. Whereas this BD Protect bracelet is going to be harmonizing your body. So any sources of EMF radiation coming into contact with your body will be neutralized by wearing the BD Protect bracelet. This is a bracelet that's comfortable and suitable for all ages. So you can have one for your grandma, you can have one for your baby. It's good for all people. And something I like to consider, just to paint a picture of why this is such an important thing to have is the second you say you have the home and office kit that we're about to talk about installed, the second you leave the protection of that zone and you don't have your BD protection bracelet on, then you're just right back in the bombardment zone of EMF radiation. And think about airplanes, think about subways, airports, all these sorts of things. Everybody's got a cell phone on. All of these places have Wi-Fi. So if you don't have that BD Protect bracelet on, it's going to be hard to have a peace of mind knowing your body is protected from all of those sources of radiations. A lot of people are very interested when they see our bracelet about those energy elements or those little colored gems that are on the inside of the bracelet. And I'll go through on a quick explanation of each of those so you can better understand why we've added those. They are added energy health elements that we've put to each device. The red element helps support your personal energy field to be stronger and more resilient overall. The green element is for helping you to ground to Earth's energy. And I like to highlight this specifically because I'm a nature lover. I go hiking all the time, and consider by human nature, we were designed to be out in nature so much more than we are in most of our daily lives. Most of us are inside a lot more than we are outside, and being outside literally grounds us to Mother Earth's energy. And if we have a lack of grounding, we can absolutely refer to studies that show lack of grounding to Earth's energy has some long-term health effects. The green element is going to help get us back to some of that natural state. Next would be the brown element, which is for augmenting negative ions, which helps support a balanced energy state. When we consider negative and positive ions, in nature, these are always in balance by an innate duty of nature. The nature of them has to be, the negative and positive ions absolutely have to be balanced in nature, which is one reason that we feel so good when we go out there and hiking. But again, in our daily contemporary lives, we are seeing so many more people have an overabundance of positive ions in their life because there's just so much electricity on us all the time, which by nature will give us more positive ions. Positive ion overabundance will lead to your air being more easily polluted and your body being more easily accepting of free radicals and just making you a little bit more sick. Again, having that balanced negative ion state is what the brown element is doing. And lastly, we have the blue element, which is essentially an extra energy shot that helps further support your body to help it better withstand any EMF stress, pardon me. Some of the suitable uses for the bracelet, for me, it's literally all the time. I haven't taken this thing off since I started wearing it. I shower in it, I work out in it, I work my garden in it, I do it all. And it's waterproof, so it's good to wear in the shower, it's good to wear swimming. You can wear it while you're sleeping. You know, if you happen to have the home and office kit installed, it's not necessary to wear it while you're sleeping. But again, because these products all work in synergy, there's no reason to not wear it while you're sleeping. And the last little point there, the last check mark mentions that it is waterproof. The one caveat is if you're swimming in very highly chlorinated water, or you are using some harsh chemicals to clean something particular, you might want to avoid using the bracelet with that because those harsh chemicals might have some problems, some negative problematic interaction rather with the materials that the product has, not the energy that we've applied to it, but the materials might break down when they're exposed to some of those harsh chemicals. So just a helpful hint there. And now we've got the home and office kit, which I honestly think is my favorite product. And that would be because I have plants, I have pets in my house, I have visitors all the time. And I can rest assured that everybody, all living things in my home are protected from EMF radiation because of the home and office kit. And not only is it protecting all living things, it's also protecting from all sources of EMF radiation. So not just your own Wi-Fi router, but all of your neighbors' Wi-Fi routers, the power lines coming through your neighborhood, the new 5G towers that we're seeing put up all the time around the world are all going to be harmonized. All of those signals will be harmonized when they reach your home. So everything's protected from all sources of EMF radiation outside of and within your home. Each kit is going to come with 5 plates, 5 stainless steel plates. One large plate that you put on your control panel or your fuse box or your breaker box, depending on what you call it. And then you get 4 smaller plates. These 4 smaller plates you would put evenly distribute these throughout your home, generally to optimize the effectiveness of the home and office kit. We really like to get those small plates installed on the outer walls of your home, not meaning on the exterior, but the perimeter walls of your home. If you can find one outlet on each one of those walls and put the small sticker on there, the small plate rather, that's going to be the optimal installation. Realistically, we just don't want to put all of these plates in the same space. So as long as we can evenly distribute them, the location is not nearly as important as having those smaller plates evenly distributed. And just to understand how to order these kits in regards to the size of the space you're trying to protect. So if your home is 1,500 square feet or roughly 140 square meters, one kit will do you just fine. If you have a larger office or home than that, if your office, say, is 300 square meters, you would want to buy 2 kits, consider a third maybe. If you have a 3,000 square foot home, you would want to get 2 kits. And so you would just want to buy the right amount of kits related to the size of whatever space you're trying to protect. And lastly, we've got the car harmonizing EMF protection sticker. And this works in a very similar way to the home and office kit, meaning that it harmonizes the car that is, or the vehicle that is installed in, creating a safe zone for all of you and your passengers, protecting not only again from the EMFs coming from your vehicle, but anything that's coming from the neighbor's car or anything outside of you. All of those EMF signals will be harmonized and neutralized with the BD Protect car sticker. This is just a basic 3-inch by 2.5-inch metal plate with adhesive backing. You can install it really anywhere. We recommend putting it as close to the driver's seat as possible. That is because all of these technologies that are creating the EMFs in your vehicle are mostly centered around the driver's seat. So we're talking about the new cars have Wi-Fi, navigation systems, and then just a general control module, the computer system that runs the entire vehicle, gives off a pretty large amount of EMFs. So depending on how much time you spend in your vehicle, you might really want to consider getting this car protection sticker. And if your priority is just to protect yourself on all phases of your life, certainly have the car protection sticker installed with your vehicle. One note that we see on the bottom here is if you do have an electric or hybrid vehicle, you certainly want to add a second car sticker from BD Protect there. And that's just, as you might consider, obviously we're going to get a lot more EMF radiation from a fully electric vehicle than we would from a gasoline or diesel powered vehicle. So just an important note there. I like to really highlight the fact, and I've mentioned it a couple of times, that all of our BD Protect lines work in synergy with one another. So they're not going to cancel each other out. All you can really do if you add more BD Protect products is add further layers of protection. So feel free to cover each phase of your life, which luckily our BD Protect line does a great job of providing a product and an answer for all of these phases in our life. And I like to paint a picture because we get this often. If I, as I've mentioned, if I have the BD Protect bracelet, do I really need to put the sticker on my phone? Or if I have the sticker on my Wi-Fi router, do I really need to put the home and office kit in? And realistically, the best step is to add a protection sticker or a protection device to all of these levels of devices. And if you're in a scenario, or if you're talking to somebody in a scenario that is not necessarily convinced that they want to go with the whole line, or they might have some budgetary restrictions that make them want to ask you which product would be the best to start with, here's the best way to kind of walk through that hierarchy so you can have the best answer there. Due to the extreme amount that most of us spend, extreme amount of time that most of us spend at our house and our homes, I really like to start with the home and office kit. And again, that's going to protect all living things from all sources of EMF radiation. Because we sleep in our home at least 8 hours every day, I hope, and we're working from home often, we're really at home all the time. So when we can start off with the home and office kit, we can have a great peace of mind that we're protected when we're in our home. The next important product to buy would be the BD Protect bracelet, because the second we step out of that home and office zone, now we are back into the bombardment area, as we might call it. So the BD Protect bracelet is a great option for the next step. And if it's somebody that's very sensitive to the budget aspect of things, I would say start with the BD Protect bracelet. Next would be the home and office, the BD Protect sticker to be applied to your cell phone or your Wi-Fi router. And again, that was because, as we mentioned before, just the high level of emissions that come off of those two devices, we really want to have people prioritize protecting those and getting the BD Protect sticker on those. And lastly would be the car harmonizer. And of course, depending on how much time you spend in your vehicle and what type of vehicle you have, that priority of the car harmonizer would vary. But if you really want to have yourself protected on all phases, you can go ahead and just cover your entire body and your entire life rather with BD Protect products. And otherwise, that's the general overview of the products and the higher level overview of the products. Really enjoy the question and answer aspects and the phase of our presentation here, because we get to dive into some other things that we didn't touch on. So,
well, to you, Morgan and Marty, let me just say from my perspective, that was a wow presentation. I think that was so well put together, very organized. The nature of the information itself from both of you was extremely on point. So I think that was a tremendous way to organize the information about these products. So maybe I will begin with you, Morgan. Two specific questions. You mentioned that for you, the home and office protection kit is most important. So here's my question. If I remember right from your slide a moment ago, that one of those kits will cover approximately 1,500 square feet. Do I remember that right?
Yes, sir.
So does it matter whether that 1,500 square feet is in different rooms, even different floors of the house?
Good question. And that is a concept that we get often when people are trying to figure out how to install these. And so the short answer would be no. We're really talking about the full square footage of your house. So say you have 3 stories and each story is 400 square feet. You don't need to install a 1,500 kit on each floor. The 1,500 kit would cover that entire space. So yeah, that's a fair question, but really we're just talking about the square area, and the way that and why that is because the home and office kit will use the existing electrical system in your home to help broadcast that energy throughout the wiring system. So again, as long as we put those smaller plates evenly spaced throughout your home, in the scenario of a 2-story home, you could put a couple of those small plates upstairs if you'd like to, and a couple of small downstairs. But as long as they're just evenly distributed throughout the home, that's really the ideal setup.
Okay. So let me now go to a little bit of a different level of question. Let's just say that we have a number of outstanding brand ambassadors whose success with ByDzyne has reached a certain level that they actually might live in a 6,000 square foot home. So if I go 6,000 divided by 1,500, that tells me that they need 4 office and home kits. Tell us about that scenario.
That's exactly right. And congratulations to anybody that has that sweet house out there. That's awesome. And we're very happy for you, happy to help contribute to that as well. And so when we talk about that, now, a lot of times when you get to a house that's into that size, you're going to actually have a second or maybe even a third control panel or electric meter running from the grid, in which case that's why we would want to have the additional kits, especially because then you would get those additional large plates to apply to those each individual control box, because those large plates rather, are applying the information directly to all electrical impulses coming off of the grid. So if we had a 6,000 square foot home and we only did the 1,500 square kit, not only would we not have enough boosters from those small plates, but we may not be covering all of the input of electricity as well. So
great. Well, I'm just going to make the pleasant assumption that the BD Protect line of products is one of the propelling reasons why we have people that are living in 6,000 square foot homes who are brand ambassadors with ByDzyne. My next question, you were talking about wearing the BD bracelet when people are swimming. You made the qualification, however, that if it is in a heavily chlorinated environment, that might be a little bit of an interruption. So my question about that is, in a normal residential pool kind of environment or a normal community pool type of environment, does that qualify as heavily chlorinated, or what do people need to be thinking about in terms of the environment if it might be too heavily chlorinated?
I can answer that question, Dave. I mean, it's really obviously it's hard to know how chlorinated a pool is, when you get in it. It's really more about the amount of time you spend in it. So I think, the concern Morgan was raising is that if you're a swimmer and that's what you do for your exercise, and you're in a, chlorinated pool for an hour, 3 or 4 days a week, might not be a bad idea to take it off, because over the long run, not over a week, not even a month, maybe not even a year, but if you did it for years, the chlorine is going to have an effect on the rubber of the watch and maybe the metal of the watch. But for most of us, we're going to the pool and we're diving in and we're spending 5-10 minutes in there, and then we're done. And we do that only in the summer, only on hot days. Not a problem at all. It's really just primarily for people who spend a lot of time in a pool. And, to the other comment that Morgan made, if you work with any sort of chemicals in your job, right? So you work in a factory or a workshop or in a healthcare profession where you're wearing rubber gloves. Well, that's a good sign that you probably want to take your bracelet off too, because whatever it is that you're working with is going to probably not be good for the bracelet. But for most of us, it's not something to worry about. You can wear it all the time, whatever you're doing. And, like Morgan, I've been wearing mine for, probably 2 years in a row with hardly ever taking it off. So.
Okay, great. Well, let me tell you the context of my question in case you have any additional feedback. It was only 3 or 4 weeks ago that a group of us were actually at the beautiful Las Vegas home of the chairman and chairwoman of ByDzyne, Nat and Chanita Puranaputra. And their backyard has an amazingly beautiful pool that, in fact, I made the comment to them that, wow, when the grandkids are here, I'm sure that they're in the pool all day, all night, every day and every night. So based upon what you just said, if there were people that were wearing the bracelet and you're going to be in the water that amount of time, go ahead and take the bracelet off, just to be safe. And then the other comment was, we happen to live in an area which is a beautiful area filled with state-of-the-art recreational centers that are community assets. And now that late spring warm weather is here and a lot of people are heading to those rec centers, the next 3 or 4 or 5 months, there could be a lot of time in the water. So it seems that you're just saying, use your common sense. If you're going to be spending a little bit of time in the water, go ahead and take the bracelet off.
Yeah, well, I would say if you're going to be spending more than a little bit of time, if it's just a little bit of time, don't worry about it. But,
right.
If you're going to be in there a lot for a long period of time, then yeah, probably a good idea to take it off.
All exactly. Right. Terrific. Do we have any questions? We're running close to the end of our time, but did I see anything? Okay, it looks like there are not any questions in the chat area, which is probably just as well, because we are literally coming to the end of our time. Okay. So let me formally thank both of you again, both Marty and Morgan, for this incredible hour that we've spent together. So well done. Excellent preparation. All of our BD family members, BD Nation family members, appreciate the clarity once again of the information that you have shared with us tonight about the BD Protect line of products. So I guess my closing note is let's move in the direction of a whole bunch of 6,000 square foot homes dotting the landscape of BD Nation, so that we'll have even a greater need to purchase a lot of these outstanding products. So Marty, Morgan, thank you very much. And we will see you again in just another 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Thank you, Dave. Take care.